Hello, everyone. Good morning. Casey Durango here of Go Keto with Casey. I hope you can see and hear me. I will put in a little different venue in my back garden. Not to rub it in for those of you who I know are suffering from either current or pending bad weather. Jen in Minnesota, I'm looking at you. But it's really pretty here today, and I've enjoyed getting out. So anyway, let me know if you can hear me. And I have an umbrella, actually, because this is what happens without it, trying to deflect a little bit of the light. Welcome. My name is Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, and I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds on the ketogenic diet, how you might be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your lives. Again, please let me know if you cannot hear me because I'm not wearing a microphone and there is background noise. Today's topic, and we're going to make this kind of quick because everyone's busy, including me. And we've talked about this before, about different expectations people have, particularly when they're starting the ketogenic diet. Quick primer, the ketogenic diet is one where you reduce your carbohydrate intake to the point where your liver stops pushing out glucose, which it will have been using for fuel, and your body happily switches to burning fat for fuel or ketone bodies for fuel, and hence the name ketogenic for the ketones. When people, it's all the rage. Ketogenic diet, it's become one of those, very hyped phrases, keto, 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 everything's keto. This is not a new thing. It's not a fad. It's been around a really long time, like even longer than anybody knows, because it's frankly probably the way we are absolutely designed to eat and live, which is eating not too many carbs, fatty sources of protein, and don't insist on constantly being full. Eat only when you're hungry and stop when you're satisfied. That's really the way we're designed. And then get on with the rest of your life. At any rate, it has become known as a weight loss diet. In truth, it's not a weight loss diet. It's a fat burning diet. It's a nutrition protocol by which, I got a lot of little no-see-ums flying around me, by which your body burns fat for fuel. That's all it means. Now, if you're burning fat for fuel, great. If you take this as an opportunity to gorge on dietary fat, coffee loaded up with oil and butter and things like this, or, fat bombs, which are just fat. If you're adding a lot of dietary fat, and there's like these extra fats, then you may not find as much success, because if your body's energy needs are being met by your dietary intake of fat and food in general, it doesn't need to tap into the online stores. Now, for those of you who don't know my backstory, I was really overweight for a really long time, 30 years. I had given up on losing weight. I tried all the things that we try. I'd listened to all the advice that was supposedly designed to help us, and now we find out maybe not so much. And I was on deck I was going to be a type 2 diabetic. I didn't want to take insulin for diabetes. I've been diagnosed and treated for cancer 3 times in my life since my late 20s or 30. I can't remember how old I was when I was first diagnosed for the first time. And I could have, you deal with that. But I just couldn't see telling my family that I was going to have to take insulin for diabetes, or that I was going to lose my feet or my kidneys or my eyesight due to type 2 diabetes. So I wanted to find out how to not take insulin for diabetes. Turns out what you do is you keep your carbs total intake a day about 20 grams or fewer, and eat fatty sources of protein, and you don't eat if you're not hungry. Not an injection nor a pill in sight. And my situation has resolved. On any given day, my blood glucose readings will be in the 60s, 70s. I probably average about 72. And I feel great, and I'm on no medications, and I've lost 97.4 pounds. That sounds tremendous, but can I tell you, and it is, can I tell you that I lost 47 pounds the first year? Now, it's not like I didn't have much to lose. I lost 47 pounds the first year. Not 47 pounds the first 2 months. Not 47 pounds in 6 months. So, quick check of math will tell you I lost less than a pound a week the first year, and I had plenty to lose. We see great success stories. We're happy for those successes. Some of them are really inspirational. Some of them are made up. I hate to say it. Some of them are made up for particular reasons. Some will get you hooked on these great success stories, and then a few posts later it says, see how I did it. Go to my meal plan. But most stories are like my story. I'm a normal person. I am you. Whether you're in your 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, I am you. I've been where you are. I've been defeated and morose and depressed and achy and brain foggy, given up hope, feeling like I didn't deserve love. I'm not one of those special people that lose 10 pounds a month. I'm a normal person. And that is normal weight loss. And I am not going to, this is not to call out anyone, but, you get questions and see posts. Help, so discouraged. I've only lost 5 pounds in the last month. My standard retort to that is, let's look at the other direction. Would you, in reflection, say, oh, I only put on 5 pounds in a month? No, you'd need therapy, right? You'd be really, you'd be over the edge if you put on 5 pounds in a month. So don't say I only lost 5 pounds in a month, or I only lost 5 pounds in 3 months. Again, would you say I only put on 5 pounds in 3 months? Sometimes the scale moves more slowly than the rest of the things that are not so obvious. Clothes fit looser. But beyond that, you start feeling better. Your joints don't ache. Can you now stand up from a sitting position and not have to grab your back? Not groan? Do you find that your fingers don't hurt when you move them? Do you find that you can walk up a set of stairs without having to pull yourself up with a handrail? Let us not be so shallow and vain that the only thing we care about is what a scale says. Set your expectations, first of all, to things that are really important. Feel better. Think better. Find yourself not dreading the day ahead when you lay in bed. Start reminding yourself that no matter what you weigh, you deserve love and respect. As we know, people will sometimes, whether they say it or not, see you when you're overweight and immediately subtract 15 points from your IQ. And we know that's not true. If you're trying and you're sticking to the program, and remember, do as you like, okay? Do what works for you. There are lots of ways to find health and happiness. Everything from Weight Watchers to move more, eat less, to low fat, to being a vegan, to being a vegetarian. Find what works for you. But if you are trying to follow a well-formulated ketogenic diet, follow a well-formulated ketogenic diet. And then ask yourself if you're following it, and you think you're following it, but then you say, but I'm doing everything right. I'm keeping my carbs to 20 net carbs a day, and I've substituted out all of the wheat flour for almond flour, and I'm getting in enough grams of fat. None of those things are part of the protocol that I followed. You do what you want. And I am not a doctor, a researcher, or anything else. I'm simply a former fat person who had given up and found the simplest solution. People say, oh my gosh, you must be so proud of yourself. That must have been so hard to lose all that weight. And I have to say, sorry, I'll take the compliment, but it was the easiest thing I've done. So ask yourself the questions. Again, do what you want. 20 total grams of carb a day, or fewer. Eat fatty sources of protein. What does that mean? When you're eating animal products, eat the fat that comes with it. Chicken or poultry with the skin, beef with the fat. Don't get the leanest cut of meat. Get the fattiest. One thing, it's usually cheaper. Lamb, pork, beef, oily fish, alligator. You don't have to eat anything. People say, oh, I can't stand eggs. Don't eat eggs. I don't eat pork. How can I do this? Don't eat pork. Eat beef or lamb or ostrich or, whatever. Now, some animals are leaner than others. Rabbit has almost no fat. But you can always, wrap it in bacon. Eat fatty sources of protein and don't eat if you're not hungry. That's the hardest part for many people. It was the hardest part for me. Learning to not eat if I'm not hungry. We're so indoctrinated. We're so conditioned to eat 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. To don't skip a meal, you'll go into starvation mode. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I feel pretty strongly about this. Talking about going into starvation mode is an insult to people who are actually starving. And there are people who do not have enough food. You're not going to go into, skipping lunch is not the same as not having enough food to eat and starving. Our metabolisms can slow down as we get older and as we lose weight and as we, it's just on any time, our metabolisms slow down, which is good. Let's think of it this way, our metabolisms become more efficient, making do with less. This must seem weird. For those of you who are just jumping in, I have an umbrella because I'm outside and the sun is right over my head, so it makes it hard to see. So I feel like Mary Poppins here. Anyway, set your expectations to something like, I want to weigh less than I did this day last year. How many of us can say that? I want to weigh less today than I did last year. Or, I have a pair of jeans in the back of my closet. I want to fit in those. And then hang them up where you can see them so they're aspirational for you. And fit in them. Doesn't matter what the scale says. How about this? I'd like to stop taking an antacid for my acid reflux. Many people find that who are asthmatic, when they start following a well-formulated ketogenic diet, they start burning fat for fuel, they no longer need an inhaler. So if you're getting frustrated with a normal rate of weight loss, I'm going to reiterate, I lost less than a pound a year on average the first year, and then it took 2 more years to lose the next 50 pounds. I was okay with that. I didn't care. Not that I'm any special, virtuous. No, I just felt so much better. I got my brain back. I got my personality back. I had been hiding my light under a bushel of fat. I'd given up on myself, and then I stopped giving up on myself. So if the scale is not telling you what you want, change your motivation, because there's a lot more to this than losing body weight. Adjust your expectations. Try to remove the word only from your vocabulary when you're talking about how much weight you've lost. And if you can do that, and then don't follow it up with, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. I still have a long way to go. Forget about that. Quit Quit minimizing the good thing. You've lost 10 pounds, full stop. Be happy. Someone says, wow, you've lost weight, you look great. Very often we want to say, oh, no, well, thanks, no, but I still have a long way to go. You know what the correct answer for me is? Thank you so much. I really feel great. Own your successes. Modulate them if you need to. Don't expect that your process will be the same as, excuse me, my husband. Let me make sure everything's okay. Live TV. Hey, babe. Hello.
Hey, babe. Are you on the phone? Are you talking?
I am? Okay, bye. Everything's okay. Thank you. He'd gone flying, and I always want to make sure he landed. He did. Okay, so, where was I? Squirrel. Modulate your expectations. I can't remember what I was saying. This may be a good time to go to comments. Yeah, quit minimizing the good things. Christina Reisner writes, absolutely. Quit minimizing the successes. This is something that I think, is kind of sometimes human nature, particularly if we've been overweight for a long time and we've felt worse about ourselves, and particularly women. Oh, no, not me, tish tosh. I don't want to take that compliment. Take the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. I feel great. Okay, and I'm trying to read comments. Okay, someone lost 40 pounds in the last year. Hello, twin. Hi. Congratulations, 40 pounds. If you pay attention, none of the commercial weight loss programs will guarantee you anything like 40 pounds. They'll try to say 10 pounds in a month because a lot of people can lose 10 pounds in a month when they're doing something very motivated and strict. And then the weight loss drops off and you feel like going back. So tell me another program that will tell you 40 pounds in a year. And then if they do, how much you're going to have to pay for it. This is just food. You don't have to pay for anything. I'm going to say something here. There's no product you need to buy that will help you do this. There is no oil. There is no supplement. There is no powder that you need. Some of them can be counterproductive. There are lots of products with the word keto now slapped on them and are being sold on many, many, many sites. Keto, whatever. We do know that they will come up with keto water. We know this. If that hasn't happened already. You don't need to buy anything. It's just food. There are lots of really good books out there. I'll tell you the one book that is my go-to source for the explanation of why this works. It's a little sciencey, but it is very approachable if you are motivated and educated. The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by Dr. Stephen Finney and Jeff Volek. It explains why this works. You don't have to even read that. If you don't care why it works, just do it. Like, do you really know how Hulu gets into your television? How does that work? I don't know. I don't care. I just want it there when I want it. I don't need to know. I did want to know because I'm curious and I enjoyed it and it was fun for me to do the research and it appeals to me. But you don't have to. Frankly, some of the books out there are a little questionable to me. But that's okay. Read them if you like. Recipes, it's fatty sources of protein and non-starchy vegetables, which are not required. If you don't like veggies, don't eat veggies. There are sources you can go to for support. There are free online sources. There are Facebook groups. You can get coaching from many sources if that is something that's going to help you. Support is important. This is a weird thing to do when you're doing the opposite of what you've been taught. So find a source that speaks to you. But, I do coaching. You can see that and swag opportunities at my blog. CaseyDurango.com. And our Patreon group has a support community of itself. And as a patron, you can get everything from weekday daily video snippets from me all the way up to one-on-one with me, but mostly in between live sessions with other patrons and group video chat sessions with other patrons. As I've often said, people become patrons not to get access to me, but to get access to each other. So, and we have MC Kimmy. Kimmy's from Germany. We have patrons from Germany, Portugal, the UK, New Zealand, Australia. I'm trying to think. Israel. Pretty cool. Anyway, and y'all are answering each other's questions, and this is what I mean by online support. You guys are answering each other's questions. Yeah, don't give up. Keto works. It's very common to say, "Oh, this didn't work for me. I'm the one person for whom this will not work." To quote an expert in the field, I can guarantee the process works. I just can't guarantee you'll follow it. Again, human nature. We want to kind of squeeze in fake versions of what got us here in the first place. Keep in mind, almond flour, coconut flour, alternative flours are not on the food list. You can find the food list I followed at my blog as well, CaseyDurango.com. It's just the food list I followed. And nowhere on there are nuts or nuts in any form, flour or otherwise. And I experimented with things when I first started, mostly for my husband, who never needed to lose weight, but started this about 6 months after I did for the enhanced athletic performance aspects of it and for general health. And he can tolerate things that I can't. So I experimented with some things. But for me, I decided that I don't want to eat things that put me in a mind space that got me to where I was in the first place. So I don't. Do what you like. All right. I am going to start to wind this up because I do want to catch my husband. Because I need to let him know, hey, is Dimitri in the house? I see a lot of patrons here. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for your patronage. There is some swag at my blog telling you that you don't have to buy anything. Nothing that I sell is going to, it's like my shirt. Silky Go Keto with Casey athletic shirt. You can get those there. Go Keto with Casey blank journal for, writing down your gratitude or your food diary, whatever it might be. These are fun things that help kind of keep the lights on. But the patrons really keep everything going. All right. Does anyone, hey, Demetria. Hey, Rosa. Okay, Rosa and a couple of other folks are in Brooklyn, New York. They're patrons. There are 3 patrons in Brooklyn. I think that's so fantastic. And people are talking about getting meetups in their own area. If you are looking for support and you can't find anything, start your own. You don't need to pay me to talk to you. You don't need to join Patreon, although I'd love it if you would. Start your own. Find put something out on your personal Facebook page or however you communicate with people. And say, is anyone interested? Let's get together for a walk or for coffee or for tea or for a glass of wine. And let's be each other's support group. You can do that. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to invest 10 cents in anything to be successful. Not only that, once you get rocking and rolling, you may find out you're not paying for medications and your grocery bill goes down. Amazing. Okay. So I am going to start asking, does anyone have any questions for me? I've started kind of saying this. Ask me anything, although I am not the keeper of all the truths. Ask me anything, and I will answer you, or I'll say, I don't answer that question. Does anyone have a specific question for me? It was someone's first live event. Yay! Hey, Stacy. All right, I'm looking at, no one's got a question for me, so that is fine. Oh, Lisa likes the daily snippets. I do these little short, they're like 10-minute videos in the mornings on weekdays. And I tell you what, I never know what's going to come out of my mouth half the time because I usually have just had my first sip of coffee and I've rolled out of bed. Sometimes I'm still in my robe. Okay. Yogurt? Okay, yogurt. There are a couple of foods that they seem like they wouldn't be allowed. Fermented foods, even if they start with things that aren't allowed. Like yogurt is a fermented version of whole milk. Whole fat, but whole milk. Milk is not allowed because it's full of lactose, which is sugar. You know that anything that ends in OSE is a sweet. So the lactose in the milk, the fermentation process for yogurt is what gives it its tang. It eats the sugar and turns it into whatever makes yogurt taste the way it is. So a full fat yogurt is totally fine, not unlimited. Again, nothing is unlimited. You generally don't have to measure too much. Make sure your carbs stay 20 grams or fewer a day. But because this is the satisfying way of eating, it's self-limiting. You know, you can say, eat as many eggs as you want, they're unlimited, but I'm going to tell you, unless you're Cool Hand Luke, there are only so many eggs you can eat, particularly boiled. Same thing with wine, the fermentation process in wine, other than sweet wines. So essentially, the higher the alcohol content of a wine and the drier it is, it's more allowed. Same thing with, trying to think of another, kombucha, I believe. Now, I don't drink kombucha. I've not researched it well, but my understanding is the same thing. The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living, someone must have been asking about that book. It is if there's one book you're going to get. Now, it is a little sciencey, so you might have to read some of the paragraphs over and over again. But there's some real aha things in there, like when they describe, why do you roam the halls of your office at 10:30 in the morning looking for something to eat when you just had breakfast, a so-called hard, healthy breakfast? At 8, it explains why. It's not you, it's the food. Now, kombucha, as far as I know, is okay. I've not researched it. I don't drink it. But my understanding is it's fermented, so the same rules would apply. Okay, does anyone have a question for me? Bethany loaned her book out. She needs it back. And Janice Moore asked, what is Patreon? It's a place where you pledge support on a monthly basis for creators. In my case, everything, like I said, depending on the amount you pledge, you get everything from morning videos during the week all the way up to a one-on-one with me and everything in between. But mostly the group stuff, plus a patron-only forum on Discourse, which I think is really the crown jewel of it. It's like Facebook, only it doesn't suck. Sorry, Facebook. Just it is. Stall. Demetria, are you stalled, sweetheart? You know, stalls are something, I think I would love it if we could stop thinking in terms of stalls. Probably on your way up, your weight leveled out a little bit. You know, putting on weight, as a rule, unless you're really just, going whole hog, you should, pardon the expression, probably was not a straight line either. There were probably days that if you would weighed yourself every day, you would have been up, then you would have been down, and then you would have been down, then you would have been up, and then you would have been hung the same for a few months, and then you would have been up again. Trust the process. Now, a stall is not really considered a stall unless you have lost 0 pounds or a fraction of a pound and 0 inches or fraction of inches in 4 weeks. If that is the case, step back and ask yourself this. First of all, have you had carb creep? Are you burning fat for fuel? You don't have to test for this, but if you want to, there goes Atticus, my doggy in the background. You can test by blood, by urine, these are the things. But you don't have to. But if you're curious, find out. So, are you burning fat for fuel? If you are you overeating dietary fat? Just fat bombs and bulletproof coffee, etc. If you're not doing that, are you simply eating more food than your body needs? Because if you're stalled out, you know what you're finding out? This is what I need to eat to maintain my weight. Push the peckishness. Try to be a little bit empty, but not, because peckish is like, I could eat, but I don't have to eat. I could eat. Push that sensation. That's what I do now. Okay, Jana, that is a food list. Jana's asking, is page 4 of what? It's a food list, and you don't even need the list. Can I tell you? It's fatty sources of protein and non-starchy vegetables. Our rotation of non-starchy vegetables around here are green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, Brussels sprouts, cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, things like that. So you don't even need the list. I mean, it really is this basic. Fatty sources of protein and limited amounts of starchy vegetables. Alrighty then. Stress is a tough one. Hello, Cindy. I love that I'm in the garden as well. Thank you, Cindy, my pal. Stress. Let's ask ourselves this question, and it is common. Had a stressful time. But let's remember this. If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. In our Patreon group, recently, we have had cancer diagnosis, cancer surgery, miscarriage, loss of job, unending winter, in-law issues, children issues, and all of those things, you have to deal with them. And a muffin won't fix them. All they will do is make you feel cruddy. And at worst, make you feel like a loser again. If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. So stress will not be enhanced by eating. Think about it logically. It's a tough one. But if you push hard enough, and several of the people that in our group have said, "Oh my gosh, I just got through this thing." A grandchild born with a very serious heart condition and required surgery immediately. This woman plowed through it. She all looked back. I didn't strumble. Following a well-formulated ketogenic diet will not remove stress from your life. It's not a curative for everything, but it can help you deal with the stress in a different way, in a more positive way, and in a way that doesn't make you feel lousy afterwards. If hunger's not the problem, food is not the answer. Just keep saying that to yourself. Okay, Jean Marie Haas, broke my stall finally, understanding that I was eating breakfast out of habit and not hunger. After a year of keto, I realized I'm really, truly hungry till noon. You know what? That happens a lot. We have been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day for so long. And I had to realize that, and then I had to let my husband know in the most gentle way, "Babe," because he cooks breakfast every morning and he'll cook it for me. "Babe, I'm not hungry." "Come on, really? Seriously?" No, I don't want to eat." "But you're not eating enough." "Babe, I really am eating enough." Keep in mind that your body, by definition, consumes the energy it needs. Combination of the food you put in your mouth and the energy you have stored on your body. When you're burning fat for fuel, by definition, your body is getting the energy it needs. Your previous breakfast that you used to eating, might be one of your chins. So let your body eat one of your chins for breakfast. How about that? That's kind of gruesome, isn't it? Okay, someone just asked, you haven't listened to me very much. If you asked, if you have to meet the M word? No, that is not part of the protocol. I'm going to repeat the protocol again. Keep total carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein, and don't eat if you're not hungry. Do you hear that M word anywhere in there? Nope. As a matter of fact, that can be counterproductive. Don't let an app tell you what to eat or how much to eat. Okay, y'all are answering about cramps. And, milk of magnesia is a good way to do it. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. We can get cramps not because we are, or we can feel kind of gross, not because we're lacking carbs, but because our sodium needs to be increased. If you don't have sodium-sensitive hypertension, try to get in about 5 grams of sodium a day between either supplementing it with bouillon or, Soleil water and the food that you're already eating. Yeah, chins. Yeah, I like that too. I just made that up. Your previous breakfast might be one of your chins. Yep. All right. Any more specific questions for me? Okay. Letha Burns, how much coffee do I drink in a day? You can drink black coffee as much as you wish. I like my coffee with cream, but I measure it because heavy cream is not unlimited. 2 teaspoons per cup is what I have, and I limit myself to 3 cups. That comes out to 2 tablespoons a day max for me. Dizziness in the AM, can't speak to that. Make sure you're getting enough sodium. Okay, all right. I am going to start to, hey, from Ontario, Canada. My goal is 1 chin. I'm going to start to wrap up. Does anyone have anything they want to say or share with me? Yeah, if hunger's not the problem, food is not the solution. I mean, it really is that basic. What if we had been indoctrinated that if you're stressed out, go to the bathroom? Well, wait a minute. How's that going to help? How's that going to help me? I mean, these are bodily functions, right? These are our body's needs. Let's just listen to our bodies. Let them speak to us and then listen to them. Our bodies talk to us. Sometimes it resorts to yelling at us. Cream is limited because it's dense calories, it's fat, it's high in fat. Try to get your fat from your full protein source. But yeah, check it out. Do a little quick calculation of how many calories there are in cream. Ultimately, calories matter. We have energy needs, and if we exceed them by what we consume, then logic takes over. It's not as simple as calories in, calories out, but all right, guys. I am going to actually round this up. So thank you for allowing me to come in. I know that my garden here is nice and warm, super sunny. I hope wherever you are, I know y'all are getting hit again. Winter will end. I heard on a television show someone was talking about Minnesota, and they said there are 2 seasons in Minnesota, winter and August 5th. I'd never heard that before. Pretty funny. Okay, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you allowing me in. Thank you to patrons. There is patron-only content if you like this, and it helps keep the lights on here. And go to CaseyDurango.com for options for coaching and swag. But you don't need to buy anything. You can be successful at this. I'm nothing special. If I can do this, you can do this. And my friend Cindy likes it when I say that. Hey, Sid. Oh, by the way, the shirt. All the swag on my site comes from Campus Marketing Specialists, campusmarketing.com. Not a sponsor, but a friend of the show. They will get it done for you. Go to campusmarketing.com. They have saved my tuchus more times than I can tell you. Great service. Okay, ciao, guys. Have a good one.